And he talks about we will have hard times as a follower of Jesus. That's 1 Peter, that's the main theme. We will have hard times, but having a living hope and living our lives like this that he outlines. He's like, you know what? We have that living hope that this is not all there is. Having this living hope is living for Jesus 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. In our families, in our workplaces, in our schools. Every aspect of our life should ooze this living hope. Some of you, that's all you needed to hear. We don't need to go any further. But that's not the purpose of what we're doing here. See, Peter then switches, because of this living hope, that the church does this, he switches his focus on the elders. And he says, you know what? Build people up. Because essentially what he's saying is build people up. And he says, this is what an elder, and out of this we can get 3 things that what an elder is. Now this is not an exhaustive list, but this is essentially 3 things that he says what an elder is. First, an elder is a shepherd. An elder is a shepherd. And there's a lot of misconceptions about a shepherd and an elder and what a pastor does. Because a pastor is a shepherd, or is an elder. So the pastors are elders, and then we also have lay elders also. So he talks about being a shepherd, and we have this misconception of what a shepherd is. And we translate this into our churches like this. The shepherd is to stay in the pen all the time. Stay in the pen. We're going to gather the flock, and the shepherd is going to spoon feed the sheep. Right? That's the pastor's job, is to feed us. Have you heard this before? I'm not going to go to that church. I'm just not being fed. Heard that before? You know what a reality is, what a shepherd is? It revolves around his staff. And a shepherd has this long staff. The reality is this: a shepherd shows the flock where to eat and drink. He guides and directs them to streams of living water, to green pastures, and he guides them and leads them to eat and to get nourished. The shepherd also protects the flock, doesn't he? When wolves come up, guess what? He's going to protect his flock of sheep. And also, the shepherd is there to discipline the sheep. That's why there's a big, long hook at the end. Because sometimes sheep want to stray away from the flock. The shepherd grabs the sheep by the neck with the hook and brings them into the flock. That's what a shepherd does. That's what a shepherd is. An elder is a shepherd. And healthy growing churches are led by healthy elders. An elder is also an overseer. An elder is also an overseer. And I think of pictures of sheep like in Ireland and things like that where they're on the hill. The sheep are on the hill. The shepherd, actually, what will happen is, they get on the green pastures and whatever, and the shepherd gets above the sheep and looks down to make sure that they're being protected by making sure that he has a bird-eyes view of make sure there isn't any wolves or anything coming into the flock. He's the overseer. He has the bigger picture of what's happening with the flock. One of the things that we do at our consistory meetings, and that's when the elders and the deacons meet together, I ask them this question: where do you see God working in Grace Church? It forces us to have a picture of what God is doing in and through us, individually and collectively. We can celebrate God moving and guiding and directing and celebrate the things that need to be celebrated. But it gives us a chance to pray about things that need to be prayed about. So it gives us the opportunity to be an overseer. See, healthy growing churches are led by healthy elders. Also, an elder from this passage, an elder is a mentor. An elder is a mentor. And I don't know about you, but in my life, a mentor has done three things for me. They've challenged me, they've guided me, and they've encouraged me. They've challenged me to grow deeper in my faith and helped me to an account with a devotional life. That I'm in the Word, that I'm in praying, that I'm doing spiritual disciplines. Also, they guided me. When things didn't go that great, they were there to say, "Oh, what did you learn?" Or when things decisions need to be made, they can guide and direct and kind of give their wisdom into the situation. And then also they are there to encourage me. They are my biggest cheerleaders. And you know what? I've been in ministry 16 years. And I have never had the mentorship as I do here. With members of this congregation and also the Reformed Church. That they're there to kick me in the pants if I need to be kicked in the pants. But they're guiding and directing and challenging me and encouraging me. And in turn, I can challenge and encourage you and to guide you. See how it works? So what does an elder do here at Grace Church? Here again, this list is not exhaustive. And we're still learning. We're learning. That's the great thing. That it's about learning too. The first thing is that they oversee the instruction of Grace Church. They oversee the instruction. And they oversee the divine truth being taught in our family. If a small group or a Monday night class or a children's ministry, they kind of go off on what Grace Church believes and what's scriptural. They're there to oversee that instruction. If I am amiss theologically here on a Sunday morning, guess who I get to answer to? The other elders. Because there's elders spread out throughout our family this morning, and they're praying, and they're listening, and they're being challenged. But if I'm off theologically, guess what? I'm going to be talking with them. They oversee the instruction of Grace Church. They also oversee the protection of Grace Church. And this kind of goes with instruction. The Bible tells us that there will be false teachers that are going to come amongst us. And the elders are there to protect the rest of us from that false teaching. They're there to protect us. If somebody comes in just trying to want to take advantage of Grace Church, they're there for our protection. They're also they oversee the correction of Grace Church. They oversee the correction of Grace Church. I'm going to camp on this for a minute. Because correction includes discipline, confrontation. And those are never easy. And those aren't nice conversations. But I want you to think in terms of a shepherd. I want you to think in terms of a shepherd. If a sheep in a flock is kind of going off and needs to be corrected and disciplined, what does the shepherd do? He grabs them by the hook and brings them into the flock, doesn't he? He does not kick them in the side and say, "Get out of here, you worthless sheep. You have no place here." He doesn't do that. That's not biblical. The correction, the discipline, and confrontation, you know what it's about? Restoration. It's about restoring relationships. In Matthew 18, Jesus talks about how we're to restore relationships. He also says, what you bind on earth, you bound on earth. What you bind in heaven, you bind in heaven. And basically, what he's saying is, guess what? Having a living hope, you will have relationships